there, friend. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac, and I'm a leadership coach, but I actually work specifically with first-time team managers and helping them to become effective leaders. So today, the topic that I want to discuss is around this aspect of finding your joy again when you're just feeling defeated and depleted as a manager. You know, I've been reading a lot of your comments, and every once in a while, I see some of you say things like, you know, I'm really struggling. I'm feeling defeated. I've had a tough week. This has been really hard. And I can definitely understand that. I can definitely relate to that. And the other thing that I know is that you can make it through this. I know you can because I did. I still do. So I know for a certainty that you can get through this. And so what I thought I would do today is just share some maybe encouraging insights with you, not necessarily tips, but insights that might help you to just make it through that kind of valley of defeat that we sometimes find ourselves in every once in a while. Because the truth is, all of us, whether or not we love our jobs or not, we sometimes find ourselves in that, like I just said, that valley of feeling defeated every once in a while. And it can be hard to pick ourselves up unless we have like a toolkit that we can rely on to help ourselves get out of that kind of slump. So I think the first thing that is really important when you are feeling this way, when you're feeling kind of like defeated and depleted, is to just simply take a break. I know sometimes that feels like the very last thing you want to do because you're probably feeling defeated and depleted because of the fact that it's so busy and there's so much to do. But I think I've mentioned this on the channel before, that it is so essential to take a pause in order to go faster, right? Like sometimes in general, in work, sometimes we're like doing without really like stopping to reflect what we're doing. And as a result of continuing to just do, we end up making a lot of mistakes or repeating the same mistakes. And so that pause of like debrief and reflection is so necessary. And I think it's even more important when you're feeling within your body and your mind that you're tired. Like that's a sign that you're tired, right? And so unplugging for a second to gain rest, to gain white space and perspective is always helpful. And so if it is possible for you to either take a day off, to just unplug and reconnect to something that you really enjoy doing, then that's always great. Or even if it's just unplugging for the evening, right? Because I know so many of you are literally taking work home with you. And so make the decision one day that instead of doing that, that you will literally unplug, right? You're going to turn your phone off, turn your computer off, do what you need to, and purposefully set aside time to do something that you enjoy. What is it that you enjoy? Do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy going for a walk, going to get some ice cream? For me, it's like having a mango smoothie. I just love it. It makes me feel so happy. And so what is it for you that makes you feel good, right? Happy. And can you unplug and just make the choice to do that? Because I guarantee you, not everything will be fixed when you go back, but you will have a different perspective. There's something just so magical that happens when you just take yourself out of a situation that feels muddy and messy. So can you do that either for a day, a couple hours, and then come back, right? So take that breather. So the second insight I want to share with you is I want you to take a moment to think back about why you said yes to this position in the first place. So when you were asked to step into this role as manager, what was your reason for saying yes? Why did you say yes? Was it because you enjoy a challenge and so you looked at this new position as a challenge that you could overcome? Did you take this position because you so deeply wanted to make a difference within the department? Did you take this position because you wanted to grow? So you're the type of person that likes to learn. And so as a result, you looked at this and thought, oh, I'm going to be able to grow exponentially as a result of being in this role. Like, why did you say yes to this in the first place? I know for me, I've always been someone that is motivated and driven by being able to make an impact in another person's life. That's why I do what I do in general, whether it be, when I was in corporate with being a manager or now. Right? I am driven by being able to make an impact in somebody else's life. And so on the days where I'm feeling tired or depleted or defeated, I tether myself to that. I remind myself of why I'm doing it in the first place. And so for you, think back about why you said yes. And on those days where you're in that valley, tether yourself to that and remind yourself that this is temporary, but ultimately, even though today is hard, that you're still on this journey of really living into that why. And so think about that, write it down. Honestly, I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have my why of wanting to be impactful to other people on my computer. And it's there all the time to remind me, because I know that I have rough days. I know that sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And so looking at that reminder, again, anchors me in why I'm doing what I'm doing, and that it's worth it. It's worth the rough days, because the great days, oh man, those great days are awesome. So for me, like, it's when I have my coaching sessions with the NMA students, those days are awesome, especially when I get an opportunity to hear them like list out their wins. Man, sometimes it just makes me want to cry how great they're doing. And so it's those things. That's the reason why I do what I do. And so for you in this role, what is the reason why you do what you do? Why did you say yes to this? Write it down. Put it somewhere that is like visible and displayed for you, so that you can consistently remind yourself of that when you're in those tough valleys. So the next insight I want to share with you is kind of a reflective question that will help you to take some immediate action. And the question is, what immediate action or decision do I have to make in order to change my situation? So I think it was Tony Robbins that actually said that our situation is usually a result of a sum of decisions that we've made to date, right? And so what that means is that if we want to change our situation, we have to make different decisions. And so in this situation, right, within the context of feeling defeated as a manager, what decision can you make to change that for yourself? You know, do you have to step up into your role and get some training and guidance so that you don't feel this way? Do you have to let someone go on the team that is like depleting the team in some way? Do you need to have a conversation with your manager about what reasonable expectations look like for you in your role? Like, what is it that you can do next to make some sort of immediate change to the situation? Identify what that is and make a plan to get started on that right away, because it's usually like a change between where we are and where we want to be is usually like just simply a decision. Now, yes, I know I'm not saying that outside circumstances and things outside of our control don't have a role in this, but generally speaking, we have ownership as well of like the outcomes, right? So we can make small changes or decisions that will ultimately affect a change that we are more aligned with. So I want to encourage you to think about that. What decision can you make that will change your current circumstance? So the last insight I want to share with you is to ask yourself, is this role of management for me? I think far too often, a lot of us try and force something that we know within ourselves just does not align. And so if you're going into the office every single day and you are feeling drained by the activities and the responsibilities literally every day, I'm not talking about valleys of ups and downs, right? Because that's quite normal. But if every day you are feeling drained by the responsibility of having to facilitate successful outcomes for everybody else, if you are the type of person that actually prefers individual contributor work and you are now in the role of a manager, and as a result, that is taxing on you, then you really need to ask yourself, what am I doing here? Because it's not going to change, right? The role isn't going to change. And I'm talking to those of you specifically that know, like within yourselves, that being an IC is what you truly like to do. Like if that's what you know you truly like to do, then how are you ever going to find joy in being a manager? Because being a manager is definitely not that. And so really have a think about you have two options, right? It's either that you start to enjoy being a manager and figure out a way that you can get on board with that, or you say, you know what, this isn't for me. And you have a discussion with your boss about how else you can grow, develop, and have more responsibility that does not include leading and managing a team, right? Because there's always different ways to do things. Like, I think sometimes we think like the one path to success is like moving up this ladder, which involves leading people, but that's not always the case. You can move up ladders in different ways and take on more responsibilities in different ways. You just have to be willing to have that honest conversation with yourself and then be assertive enough to have that conversation with your manager. And I'm telling you that because I've had a team member do that with me, who sat me down and said, listen, Mac, this leadership role thing is not for me, but here's how I can be of value to this department. And she stated her case and it worked out for her. So never hold yourself back based on what you think the pathway should be, because you never know. Sometimes just asking a question, stating what you want, putting it out there what you want, gets you exactly what you want. Okay? So those are just a couple of insights that I thought I would share around, like I said, getting through those peaks and valleys where it feels tough. Now, for those of you who feel as though this role is for you, you're just going through kind of a slump, I want to let you know that it will get better. It always gets better. It just sometimes getting started is the hardest part. You know what I mean? And so what I'm going to do is actually leave a playlist for you in the description box below that will include a couple of videos from some of my past NMA students who have had tremendous success, and you can kind of hear their journey. I've always found hearing other people's journeys so encouraging, and so I feel like throwing some of that in there in the playlist is going to be helpful to you, as well as some other videos where I'm having some, just real honest talk about the challenges of management. I'm going to throw that in the playlist for you as well. So you'll definitely want to check that out. All right, my friend, thank you so much for being here on the channel with me today. I really, really appreciate you giving me, your time, because you could literally be anywhere else right now. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below, and I will definitely make sure to surface it in an upcoming video or batch of videos throughout the year. All right, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And take care. See you soon.